For those of us that remember Monty Python's back in the 70s and 80s, now for something completely different. Yep, wood turning isn't all about making bowls. This week we've got a piece of butternut. They call it butternut, but it's, I guess, white walnut. And there is a bit of punky wood on the edge there that you see going through the bandsaw, but this is all about making that Lazy Susan, and I'm using quite a nice ball bearing rotisserie device, which you'll see later on in the video if you watch right through to the end. So this butternut, it's around about 1 3/4 inches thick, and it's plenty of room to make the disc around about 16 inches in diameter. Those that don't know what a Lazy Susan is, it's a round disc that's on bearing supports that can hold condiments and food articles in the middle of a dining room table. Mainly using CA glue to stabilise that punkiness on the edge there, and filling some of the voids that appear through what must have been some sort of insect pores in amongst that punkiness as well. Now the piece is initially held between centres, but I am making a foot for the bottom of the bowl, and it'll be a 5-inch, so that the Big Mark truck can grasp that with as much power as possible, because I don't want this thing spinning around at 1500 RPM and coming off. It's quite a very large piece at 16 inches. Now I do like the Big Mark, not because it was made in Australia, but because it has a very easy switch from the smaller drawers to the larger drawers. So it's a handy feature to have in most trucks. There are quite a few nice trucks out there in the market at the moment. Big Mark's just one of them that I've kind of settled on. Still waving the Aussie flag just for the support of Big Mark. Good on you guys. Now to get a beveled tenon and to make it accurate, I use the skew chisel to achieve that. Once the tenon is formed, then I'll switch over to the Ellsworth gouges just to make the shape of the bottom of the Lazy Susan. Almost said bowl then, but it's a Lazy Susan. I did want some sort of concentric curves going on the edge of this bowl so that it doesn't look as thick as it really is. And to give it a bit of a nice neat profile on the edge. So what I'm forming here is kind of a concave edge up to the point where there's another remaining 3/4 inch on the top side of the Lazy Susan, and there'll be another concave on that with a very shallow edge on the very surface of the device, so that it does give a bit of an appealing look rather than just a round curve or a angled undercut. These two surfaces in two concaves moving together work out well at the end, so just watch this space. So this is the upper edge curve being formed just after the underside curve. And I've been using extensively here some round edged beveled scrapers just to get that surface as smooth as possible, so there's minimal sanding at the end of the day for this job. The finishes that I'm going to be using on this is some mylar sanding sealer, followed by the Acks finishing paste and Acks polish, and finally just a few coats of that mylar friction polish just to give it a bit of a shine at the end. Yeah, the punkiness of that wood, just a little bit more of a few tips. I use the CO glue, as I've mentioned before, to stabilise that part. This is a final finishing cut with the heavy duty scraper, and it pulls those shavings off very, very thin, and nice surface left behind itself. Now I'm making a groove on the underside of the piece with the exact same width as the Lazy Susan's ball bearing rotisserie. So I'm cutting this into a very, very clean U shape in a specific size, and having the device almost buried inside the wood itself, with having just the rubber feet that is protruding. It's a very simple cut here, just using a negative easy tool scraper, and just to make that channel very, very clean. As I mentioned earlier, sanding sealer, Acks paste, Acks polish, and Mylar friction polish are the coatings on this product. Sanding sealer goes off, it's a Mylar sanding sealer, it goes off pretty quick. So I'm about an hour's worth of drying time, then on goes the Acks abrasive polish. I would probably highly recommend, if you're not going to use any epoxy tabletop finishes, I generally do, this particular combination works extremely well, and leaves the wood in its best form towards the end. Now going to remove the foot after the finishing on the top and the sides, and just turn that around on my very large friction chuck, pressed against with the tailstock. It's just a simple matter of erasing that, putting the maker's badge on the bottom, and Bob's your uncle. So it's getting towards the end of the project here. I've got some not so much stills, but just to show you how it all turned out at the end. And I'm very, very pleased with the actual project. The timber that was using is exceptional. Happy with the result at the end. I've just left a link at the bottom for that rotisserie device for those that are interested in using it. They make from 8-inch right up to, I think, 24-inch rotisserie devices. The concentric wheels, I guess, separated or joined together with ball bearings, so it returns very easily and quite silent. So next week, guys, thanks for watching this one. Cheers.